So a little background story, I was the youngest in my family, the baby girl, and I had two older sisters. My mom would always favor me because I was like 5 years younger than my siblings. For this reason, my older sister used to bully me like every day. She literally tried to make my life miserable. So I was raised by a single mom. My dad was not in the picture. He rather raised other women's children than raise his own. But that's a different story, okay? So my mom worked two jobs just to take care of us. So this means I would be left alone in the care of my two older sisters. So basically, they were my babysitters. Evil, cruel babysitters. My sister used to make me clean up the whole house by myself, and it would take hours. Like I felt like Cinderella, and they were the two stepsisters. It was so bad because she would walk around with a belt in her hand, and if I didn't clean something the way she liked, she would make me take my shirt off and whip me on my back as if I was a slave and she was my master. And she always threatened me not to tell our mom because if I did, she said that she would kill me. And I believed her. So I kept quiet for a really long time. It got so bad that I always dreaded coming home from school. Like, I used to hang around my school in the library until the school closed because I knew when I got home, it would be a nightmare. But guess what? It gets worse. Stay tuned for part 2. Part 2 on how I had the worst sister ever. One day I was extra late coming home from school because I decided to go to my friend's house first. I did any and everything to delay me going home. I was really trying to stay out as long as I could so that the time would be closer until my mom got off work. But my friend's mom eventually took me home because it was getting late. So as I was walking to my house and as I opened the door, I was greeted with a big old punch to my face. My sister literally attacked me and I was completely helpless. My other sister, she just sat there and watched. She never helped me ever because she was too scared of my older sister as well. But I know deep down she wanted to help. So as she's attacking me, she's yelling like, "Why are you 3 hours late coming home?" She was like she had to clean the house this time. So basically, she wasn't concerned if something had happened to me. She was just mad that she had to clean the house. After she finished beating on me, she yelled at me to get up. So I got up from the floor and she said, "Now because I had to do your work, I didn't get to finish my homework. Now go and do my homework." And she handed me her homework. And she said, "If I get a bad grade, I'm going to kill you." Mind you, my sister was 6 years older than me. I was only in the 6th grade and she was a senior in high school. Therefore, I didn't understand any of her homework. I literally had to Google all the answers and watch YouTube tutorials on how to do everything. I stayed up almost all night doing this. So the next day I woke up in the morning. When I looked in the mirror, I noticed I had a bruise on my cheek from last night when my sister had punched me. So of course, I avoided all eye contact with my mom. I did not want her to see because I did not want her asking what happened. So I went to school and I was so tired from staying up all night doing my sister's homework that I ended up falling asleep in my first period class. My teacher woke me up and asked why I was so tired, and I told her I was up all night doing my sister's homework. Then she looked at my face and asked how did I get the bruise, and I told her my sister had punched me. I was just tired of lying about what was happening. I just got everything off my chest, and it felt good. My teacher reported everything to CPS. They told my mom and my sister got in really big trouble. From this day on, my sister doesn't bully me, but she still hates my guts.
Story time on my creepy neighbor. I grew up in a very nice neighborhood, but as soon as we got a new neighbor, my whole life changed. Me and my friends always used to play outside in front of my house, and anytime we would go in the house and come out, something would always go missing. Like we left our bikes outside the front yard and someone took one of our bikes. We literally looked everywhere for it. We could not find it. So all we could do was report it to the police. So one day I was out by myself playing with my Barbies. Then I went in my house to use the restroom. It literally took me no more than 5 minutes. When I came back outside, I noticed that one of my dolls was missing and dirt was poured on my other dolls. I looked all over the front yard for my doll, but I just couldn't find it. I thought this was strange, but I just thought maybe a dog took it and carried it away. That was the only logical explanation I can come up with. So the next day, my neighbor was outside on his porch just watching me check the mail. It was very creepy because he didn't take his eyes off me. He didn't even blink. My friends came over later that day and asked if I wanted to go skating. So I went with them to go skate. Once again, we left our skates outside to come in for a Capri Sun. We were hot and thirsty. When we came back outside, we noticed that one of each skate was missing, like someone left us with only a skate for our left foot. Now I knew in this moment that it wasn't a dog. Someone was targeting us. We were looking all around the neighborhood to see if anyone was outside, but we couldn't see anyone. So we came up with a plan the next day. We went and got some toys to play with outside, and then we went inside. But this time, we were looking out a small crack in the blinds. And lo and behold, we seen my neighbor come on my yard, attempting to take one of our toys. So we ran outside and said, "We caught you. Why have you been taking our stuff?" But he said nothing. He just ran in his house. So we told our parents that the neighbor had been taking our stuff. But guess what? They didn't believe us. They said, "Why would an old man need toys?"
Story time about how I almost got ran over by a school bus. A freaking school bus. So let me tell y'all what happened. So at the time I was a freshman in high school. Being a freshman in high school was a big deal. Everything was new to me. When I arrived at the school, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where my classes were or who my teachers were or anything. So that was a whole other situation. My friend who I knew since elementary school was also at the school. When I saw her, I was very excited, but she wasn't really excited to see me. She was still upset that I had ghosted her during summer break. So we had an argument, and I ran off to figure out where my classes were because I had other problems to deal with. And I was like, just forget her. So I ended up finding all my classes, and the first day at school was pretty fun. But anyways, when dismissal bell rang and school was over, I had to find out where my mom's car was. And I knew that that was going to be a problem since I'm new to the school and I'm new to the parking lots and driveways. So when I left the school with everyone else, I had saw my friend hanging out with the same people that bullied me all throughout middle school. And she knew that those people were bullying me too. So I kid you not, I was very upset. I started screaming and yelling at her for betraying me, and it got heated. Everyone was watching. We almost got into a fight if the security guards didn't separate us. So obviously I was still very angry and I ran away crying. And as I was running away, I didn't see where I was going and a school bus was driving, and I almost ran in front of the school bus that was driving, but I didn't because a boy had grabbed me just in time so that I didn't get hit. So me and that boy ended up becoming really good friends to this day, and yeah, that's my story.